So how significant is this first flight of the C919? Well, let's bring in George Hamlin, president of Hamlin Transportation Consulting. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rachelle.
So what's your take on the C919 and what it means for China's broader aviation ambition?
What it means, this is a really big day. How many countries in the world make large commercial transports? The US, they do this in Europe, Brazil, Canada, not very many in Russia. So joining this global cast of a very few instead of thousands is a very important factor if you want to make it in this business.
And it's about less than a dozen countries that can hold that title.
Yes.
Now, what about the investment? How is this investment being viewed in China?
I would hope it's being viewed as very strategic. There is a long-term market. It's projected to grow. China is going to be the largest component of it. Why wouldn't you invest in this if you wanted to be in this business?
Now, what about reaction from other airlines? We know that this is going to be considered a rival for Boeing and Airbus, who've really dominated. How are they viewing this development?
They're probably concerned about it. It's going to happen. It's going to take a while yet. It's not even going to be next year. I mean, today, May 5th, is a great day, but it's going to be a little bit of time before it actually shows up at an airport and boards revenue passengers. They're certainly concerned about it. An analogy here is sort of what happened when Airbus got into the market in a major way versus Boeing. And then at that point, there were still two other U.S. producers active, Douglas and Lockheed.
So with that being said then, it's still early days, as you mentioned. So when can we expect there to be full public service?
Public service, I think, 2020 and beyond, it typically takes a while to get certification. It will have to be both within China. And if it's going to achieve global success, it will have to be certified in Europe and the US as well.
And how surprised are you that China is the next big player to really kind of take on Airbus and Boeing?
This has been coming for a while. I've actually only made one trip to China myself, but they started out assembling what were referred to as kits for the MD-80 and MD-90 aircraft. I actually rode in one of those during my internal travels in China. It's been on the radar, but this is a significant larger step than they've taken before.
And speaking of the development, how does the development of this C919 play into China's goal of really moving up the manufacturing chain when it comes to value, high value?
Well, the overall process of the airplane definitely is high value. Now, the components, the engines are not coming from China yet at this point. And that's one of the most sophisticated pieces of any aircraft. So you're going to build on that, and the assembly of the airplane is sort of the thing that gets everyone's attention because parts come in boxes and then a shiny, beautiful airplane rolls out. That's the tip of the iceberg in terms of the economics of it, however.
And we saw a number of commitments made and orders made for this plane. How promising is that, do you think?
It's promising. It's obviously going to start off in China. The good news, for example, the Japanese have tried to get in this business in the past. They simply didn't have the domestic market to sustain the entry. In their day, two of Japan's airlines bought a lot of 747s, but they couldn't have taken that program on from scratch. China has patiently built up using first assembly, participating in other programs with other manufacturers from elsewhere. Now they're finally ready to do a full-scale mainline aircraft by themselves.
Certainly a fantastic development. Thank you so much for joining us, George Hamlin, president of Hamlin Transportation Consulting.